is the Glass Cannon Network.
Welcome back, everybody, to your favorite show. Joe. There you are. Anything interesting going on in your life?
Did you say Joe?
Yeah.
Yeah.
He's looking right at you.
Can't you see? Hey, buddy.
Hey.
I think you got it wrong. Anyway, you're looking right at Matthew. That's Sydney. That's Sydney.
I look up to no one.
I look up to there I am. I'm right down there.
Oh,
hey,
there you are.
Hey,
I thought you
bud.
were Matthew. Well, you got
wait,
anything
I did the
interesting
wrong way. You're this way. God damn it. All right.
You got anything interesting going on in your life?
Yeah, there is something interesting going on in my life. In fact, it just completed, and I am ecstatic. I built my first swing set, like full-blown play set, swing set. It took 3 days.
Oh my God.
It took me 3 days on this thing. Every piece of wood, every screw, every nut, every bolt. Like, I had to build the whole thing, and it was an intense experience. There were a couple wrenches that got a couple inches deep into the dirt being thrown extremely hard that I had to then clean out.
How often did Erin have to come out and like hold a beam above her head?
Like multiple times.
Yeah,
multiple times. I'm like, all right, I need your help on this one. And she's balancing like an incredibly heavy beam. And I'm just like trying to like bolt it in. And it was ridiculous. And then the kids got on it, and I was like, oh, God, I'm so happy. I'm so happy this happened. And at one point, the two of them, while swinging, went back both at the same time, and the front of the whole thing was like, whoop, about 3 inches off the ground, and then went boom, back down. And I was like, God damn it, get off the swings. And I have to start like staking it into the ground. And I'm like, God. But I think we're in good shape. It seems to be working. There's like a treehouse hut thing. It's got a roof.
Oh, yeah.
I mean, I hope when the weather really turns and it's spring again, that they'll like spend a lot of time out there. It's so funny. I can already see myself being like angry dad if they're just like doing anything other than playing on that swing set outside.
Right.
Like, why don't you get in the treehouse and have fun? Look at it. There's a roof. It has a telescope. Go in there.
Can you fit in there? Can you go in there and like drink?
Not really. On your knees. On your knees. You could sit on your ass.
Just nursing a bottle.
Yeah, but when I went up there, and I believe
everything's fine in my life.
Yeah.
So is it more or less comfortable than a Vietnam POW hutch?
Matthew, that is my first thought. If it was about 40 feet taller, it would be maybe 30 feet taller. It would be a Vietnam POW camp lookout. Like, that's exactly what it looks like, a watchtower. So I was up there building it because, like, you build that part, and then you got to go up there to build the roof and everything else on it. And the whole time I'm walking on that thing, which is meant for children, it's just going like, I was just like waiting to bust through the wood and be like, great, I'm the fattest guy in New Jersey. Great, thank you for reminding me. Swing set. But
That's something.
I made it out of there without any broken wood. But it's funny you say that, Troy, because we have these high fences that like my neighbors put up. I didn't put up before I moved to this place. There's these high fences, you can't see them. So I climb up there and like you could see clearly into that place like from their yards, and it just cracks me up the idea of like, did he climb up there and is he drinking whiskey alone in the rain?
On his knees?
I guess things are tough over at the O'Brien house.
Well, that's quite a project. This
Yeah,
was
it was
a
eventful.
Christmas
It was
present, I'm
eventful.
assuming.
Yes, Santa brought it and was adamant that Joseph, my son, build it because he loves building things. And then I said I'd help him. So,
That's nice.
yeah.
Was he holding any beams up?
He didn't hold shit. No, he was awesome. He was awesome.
Your socket wrenches?
He actually is a great helper, and he loves doing that kind of stuff. He just loves tools and doing that kind of stuff. So yeah, he did. He was like, I want to do another screw. At one point, I yelled at him. I mean, I was in such a bad mood, and he got out his little like drill gun, which is a real drill gun. It's just not super powerful. And he got it out, climbed up on a step stool when I wasn't looking. And on the outside of that thing, he just pushed like a Phillips head screwdriver drill bit into the fresh wood on the outside of the thing and just started like grinding it up so it's all scratched like on the outside of the wood of the thing. I'm like, what the hell are you doing? You're scratching the gorgeous swing set. I was a lunatic. I was an idiot. I was like, you got to be on the inside. I didn't give him enough to help, I guess. So he just started tearing up the outside of it, trying to pretend. It was cute, though. It was cute.
It is rough when they ruin nice things. Like, they don't care they ruined them. And you're like, dude, Pokemon card, don't bend it.
My son the other day, I mean, he's not that young. He's like 4.5. And I just don't understand. Like, he literally took a rock and he scratched an X into the side of the car.
Oh, no.
Oh, God.
Like out of nowhere. And I didn't see him do it. I found out about it later from my wife. She was like, I was so mad. He just scratched and like I looked over and he just had a rock and was like, hey, you know, like this is a normal thing to do. He's like, oh, just raw wipe it off.
Dude, Sam wouldn't even tell me if that happened at home because I would just be like, what are we gonna do?
Exactly. Anyway,
what are you gonna do? That's like $1,200 of body work.
It is. It really is. And I'm like, well, that X is there forever. Like that's just a part of the car now. He marked it. Here's the family car. There went, you know.
It's now his. Maybe it's now his. In that well, good for you. Congratulations.
Thank you.
Matthew, have you built any swing sets yet for your child?
I have not.
You have all this to look forward to, Matthew.
I'm still a little bit in just like the whiplash of the ups and downs of that story.
Yeah, there's a lot of beautiful moments and a lot of ugly ones.
And then it ended with just your son keying your car.
Yeah, like, I don't know where that came from. That was so wild. Like, it's not like he's 2. You know what I mean? Like, I don't know why he did that.
Kids are so funny. I mean, they do say the darndest things, but like they will do something insane in front of you, like any adult. Not even their parents. They just do something insane, or they fall off something of a great height, and you like look over, and the kid's just like, "Hey," and then they walk up to you, and you're like, "Are you okay? Like you did just throw a rock through that window. Like what's going on?" And they're like, "My name is Thomas," and you're like.
Don't try to change the subject, Tom.
You're just like, okay. And they're like, I'm almost 5. See ya. And then they just run. And I'm like, you just smacked your face in the ground falling off of this like playset. And they're just like, see ya. And I'm like, all right, kids are wild.
Do you remember being a kid and like your knees were constantly wide open, like wounds from like skinning your knees as a kid?
Yeah.
Yeah.
I remember like constantly having like bloody knees and like, what the hell were we doing? Dude,
well, I mean, it's the same. When I bathe my kids, my daughter has, and she's 6, and she has like bruises all up and down from her lower thigh down to her ankles.
It's like a social worker showing up
her
at your
shins.
Sir, your daughter is heavily bruised.
100%.
And we're told you're drinking at a playground.
Exactly. I'm always like, look at all these bruises. They're going to think. But then I'm like, doctors have to realize, like, kids just bruise the shit out of their legs constantly. And it doesn't bother them. It doesn't bother them in the least.
Sorry, I have to interrupt for a second. Sydney, that mason jar was enormous.
Did you not have a larger mason jar to drink out of?
Wait, what is
I don't think you're drinking enough water every day.
Let me see your receptacle.
Let's see it. Show it. Oh my Lord.
That looks like something you use for experiments. Like there should be a brain in there.
You could put a terrarium in
When
there.
it's full, like a child, I do have to use 2 hands to drink out of it because it's unwieldy when it's full with just one hand. But speaking of accomplishments, getting things done, I'm trying to drink more water. I'm trying to like purposefully fill up a big water bottle and just have it with me. And I'm like, don't want to fucking carry this around.
Yep.
So I'm going to have to drink it.
I'm with you. It's a very important thing. And for me, too, one of the main ways that I actually started getting it done was I needed one huge receptacle. Because what stopped me was going back and forth. I was just like,
What stops me is I put down, like the movie Signs, I put down 30 little cups around my apartment all day and forget where they are. And
also as a security for when the aliens come.
Exactly. It's a win-win for me.
Yeah.
But yeah.
Early warning system. But that's like a portable toilet, like what you have.
Yeah, what you have is a little absurd.
Right now.
It's also good for that. There's 3 uses now.
That's true.
When you first drank out of it, I was like, am I just like, is there like some forced perspective thing going on right now?
I know. I was like, man, Sydney is cosplaying a gnome really well.
Oh, that would be funny if I did a gnome as a character.
It looks like it's distorting the size of you as a person.
Right. And I look kind of short now, too, now that I look at myself. I'm like,
I should play a gnome and just get a bunch of giant props to use when we're on camera.
It's really uncomfortable. I feel like a pig fetus should be inside of it and it should be on your shelf.
Yeah, it should be at the Mutter Museum.
Oh, you should drink water. I feel like drinking water. When we were kids, nobody said, go drink some water. Like my parents, I'm like, if I give them a bottle of water, like, I can't drink this. I'm like, I drink like 50 of those a day. Like, nobody drank water when we were kids.
You know how I know I'm old? Because I need to drink more water. I'm like, physically, I'm like, I'm dehydrated. Like I feel it in my body and I'm like, I need to drink more water. And I went to the doctor the other day. And you're always deficient in vitamins. You know, when you go to the doctor, you get blood taken. Like, we're always deficient in vitamin D. Usually, people are.
Got to take supplements.
So they do the D. They do the D.
Yep.
The doctor. You guys.
What kind of doctor are you going to?
What kind of prescription is this?
Was this
highly inappropriate?
Is there a license on the wall anywhere that you saw?
Hey, is this a new
You don't
doctor?
have to do the D at the doctor.
Of course, I did the D.
There's a new doctor in town.
I trust my doctor.
That's why it's so despicable.
This is worse now. But I had to
drink some water.
I had to get vitamin D. I had to get now it's just stupid. I had to get such a large amount of vitamin D. And I have to take it like
I bet.
It's such a lot. It's like you need water and a lot of D. Oh, God.
I'm done. Yeah. Those are my 2 New Year's resolutions, and so far, so good.
This guy is not a practicing doctor.
Why did you need so much vitamin D?
Did he say, now open up this pizza box? Your prescription's inside.
Right. The story is, I knew I was old because I had to get vitamin D in like a huge amount, like 50,000 something, and I have to take it once a week for a month. And then they also were like, we have to give you injections of vitamin B12
Oh my God.
for 4 weeks because I was so deficient. Because they're like, are you a vegetarian? I'm like, no, I'm just, I don't know.
You're
eating.
like, I just eat French fries.
I'm not eating good
Drink lots of water.
What's the
But
problem,
that's-
Doc? I'm full all the time.
It's just funny getting old because I'm like, there's no way as a kid I had this, and God knows what I ate as a kid, but you're just like active and like doing so much and you eat so much. I'm like, yeah, I'm like a healthy adult and I can't.
Do you drink milk?
No.
Well, that'll help.
That's not vitamin B12.
Vitamin D.
B12's in like animal.
Oh, vitamin D.
product.
Vitamin D. Yeah, I don't know.
B12 was peddled to me as a hangover cure.
Oh.
Yeah.
I don't
Well,
know
it
if it
does
was
make
true or
you
not.
I should
Because
start.
Matthew's never been hungover.
Nope.
I wish that were true. And then I got old, and I get hungover. I get hungover when I have a single drink.
Yeah.
It's punishment.
Yeah, that's the worst part. That's the worst part of getting old. One drink, you're just like, what did I do?
I'll have a Bud Light, and I'm like, I'll pay for this later.
I'm going to be bad tonight.
What is it, Mardi Gras?
Have a single Bud Light.
Well, I suppose we should play Pathfinder.
Yes.
That's what we came here for. And no matter how old we get, we'll still play this game. until the new OGL shuts it all down.
You are no longer allowed to have fun in your homes.
You have to play another game till you get old. But you now have procured 5 out of 6 possible gifts to get the Mad Poet. There's only one more Dreamland excursion you need to make. And once you get that final gift, you can follow up with the Yellow King back at the abandoned caravanserai, which feels like it was forever ago that you were there. What show did we do the caravanserai?
I was just going to ask you that.
Wasn't it one of the Bostons? Am I lying about that?
That might have been Boston. Yeah.
Might have been Boston. I mean, it was multiple shows for sure.
I mean, odds are. There are so many Boston shows.
You know, we should drop an email to the Yellow King and just update him. That we're going to be circling back pretty soon.
That'd be so much easier, right?
We could,
one more trip.
We could
One more
reach
trip, one
out
more
to the
gift.
Yellow King and be like, yo, we got 5. Can we just go? Like, is
You
it
want him to
really
come and
going to
get him.
be that big of a deal? And then just skip ahead to an unprepped part of the adventure and plow forward.
I'm sold.
Troy.
Matthew's in.
I'm in.
I would love to do like some really chunky combat.
Okay.
Like a good 3.
Let's ask.
Where like Troy plays like 6 characters.
Yes.
Oh, it's the best.
And then we make like snakes and
Yeah.
best.
And
So
all
if
the
the Yellow
characters are
King's
named.
Guarantee Pathfinder 3rd edition, you get 5 actions.
I hope so. I hope
Want
so.
these combats to never end. You guys come back to the boat. You know, this
I'm
is
sorry. I thought I was trying to wake you up.
covered in water and urine. This is
covered.
this is like for most of you, or the majority of you, some of you, or a couple of you.
One of you.
Every time you go to the Dreamlands, it's almost fatal. Several of you have died there. Some of you have died multiple times. And yet again, you're just by the skin of your teeth. You wonder how much more can you take of this? And what is the rest of your journey going to look like? Yes, there's one more excursion ritual. Yes, you're going to go to the Yellow King, and he's going to bring you to the Mad Poet. But what else? How far can you be pushed at this point? Without really knowing what it is you're after as you're chasing down in Lal's footsteps, trying to figure out what he did. So I just want to kind of check in and see with everybody and see where they're at, because we've just been plowing through combat after combat. As you come to your senses and change your pants and shirts, tell me what the rest of the day looks like for each of you. Whoever wants to start.
Oh wait, also I just want to check. Are we having a full rest then when we wake up? I forget how it works.
No.
No. Okay.
Yeah, do we, when
I
we
think you're
use
back
our...
to what you were before.
Okay, well then I spend the day completely just resting.
I think you wake up. I think you wake up fully rested.
With
If
your
you-
health back and everything.
With your health back. If you had any mental conditions like stupefied or fucking any of that stuff, that carries over until it goes away. That's something I haven't been tracking as much. Doomed obviously carries over. I don't think anybody's doomed anymore. And your madnesses reawaken. But yeah, no, you're back to full. So where's everybody at? There's a lot less people here on the ship now since all of those sailors left, with the exception of O.J. Simpson. Senator Milo Daldemain is there with his 3 companions. And then there's still the older couple who are still shook from losing their most recent lover, Sir Julie Andrews.
Aldo, well, for one thing, I realized that I had been doing my extracts wrong. I had made a mistake during character creation when we swapped over, because I thought that what I believe is the mistaken impression that I had to have I had to already know the lesser version of a bomb or an elixir to be able to learn the next one up, which I don't think is true. I think as long as I am of a level a consummate level for whatever the extract is, then I can just learn it. So I had some duplicates on there. Like, it was a mess. It was one of those things where I'd sort of filed it away as like finished, and I didn't go back to it. And then, but I was going back over it as I was studying alchemists and my character sheet. I was like, I fucked this all up. So I fixed a lot of that stuff. So I should be in a way better shape now going forward to be a little bit more effective and versatile. But one thing that I do want to do, Aldo, I think it's like coming out of this dream. It's like probably like coming out of any horrible dream, but worse. I mean, you think about how that feels when you wake up from a really intense, vivid nightmare. Like, I mean, this is something that actually involved like a lot of physical pain and horrible things. So I think he's just like shaking. But once he has composed himself, he surveys the rest of the group and he says, like, "Hey, listen, has anyone got a a healing potion, like a little more potent? Anyone got one of something a little more?" And he like shows like the minor like elixir of life. Says, "Anyone got something a little stronger?"
I got this healing potion, lesser.
Yes. And is may I?
Sure. Okay. Yeah.
Yeah, so he takes this, just like, yes, and he just like sort of uncorks it, like takes a sniff, and he's just like, "May I have this?"
Is this gonna come? Like, are we just gonna add this to my bill?
Oh, yes.
Okay, I'll add it to the expenses.
Yes, put it on the tab. No, don't worry. Yes, this'll come back multiple fold.
Absolutely invoice us for it. Don't forget.
Absolutely. Yeah, don't be afraid to just... And I write a quick receipt out. I rip a page out of Sheila, give him a quick receipt. And I am going to retire to my quarters. And I am going to use my alchemist set, my traveling alchemist set, to learn to reverse engineer the lesser elixir of life. I'm going to use assurance with my alchemical crafting to do that, and thus doing that, I will have that in my formula book, and I will be able to add that to the things that I can make every day.
Oh, that's cool. Nice. That's great.
That's really cool. Okay, great.
Yeah.
19 characters and no cleric, so it's good that we have someone that can make healing potions.
Yeah.
So Aldo spends the majority of his day crafting.
Maybe Ethel will go in there and we'll sit back to back, and he'll work on his dollhouse furniture while Aldo works on his potion. Like Jimmy Stewart and Henry Fonda making model airplanes.
Yeah, or like in The Wire, when
like in The Wire,
Freeman when he's making his doll furniture. And I think we're just chatting it out like this as this is going on. Like Aldo is just sort of absently just sort of like talking out loud, talking through this process, and having sort of a half conversation, the two of us, like as this is going on.
You ever been married?
Married? No. I was in love once.
Yeah, I was in love.
Yeah, with the wife?
Yeah.
This kid is so great. He's playing them being back to back. That's amazing.
It's good. It's good.
Yeah. No, I mean, you never stop loving a person, do you?
Well, I don't know about that. Depends what they do.
It doesn't. It really doesn't.
No, yeah, I don't know. Maybe I wasn't in love then.
Maybe.
Maybe.
Let me give you a little bit of advice.
Hmm?
Anything you care about, just mark it before the marriage. Just like put a little like note. Just trust me on this.
Noted.
Anyway. You just hear Ethel start to quietly sob as he makes the dollhouse.
As he carves a dollhouse.
Making his tiny furniture and crying.
He's like carving the posts of a 4-poster bed, and he just is like...
He says, I know, it's amazing. The viscosity is actually probably about 17% thicker than the weaker version. That's funny, isn't it?
I feel like a weaker version of myself now.
Oh, yeah. Well, we'll fix that, won't we?
Yeah.
Not paying attention.
Eris comes into the room And she sees Ethel and she goes, "Hey, cool dollhouse." You know,
Just a reminder for the audience at home. Chicken hands, neck mouth.
you don't see the neck mouth all the time. My hands are in my pockets. She goes, "Hey, you know, I can totally give you little like dolls for your dollhouse, and they'll have like real spirits in them."
Oh, I don't.
She smiles at you.
Oh, that's very kind. I don't have a dollhouse. I make these. The idea is to open up my own shop one day, retire, and just, you know, this will be the wares that I sell.
Could you murder the guy leaning on his horn outside of your apartment? By any chance?
I was like, I'm not gonna break. I'm not gonna break. I'm gonna stay in the scene.
Character. They taught me at Juilliard.
I'm gonna resist the urge to break the fourth wall and yell at this guy.
It is 11 o'clock at night, dude.
Yeah, that's insane.
Yeah, that's crazy.
My daughter is asleep in the other room.
Oh.
Still? Who knows?
Who knows?
Well, okay. Hey, Aldo.
Do you want this one?
What is it?
It's a 4-poster bed. It'll have a canopy. I'll make a little canopy out of tulle and
Oh, a bed. Okay. I'll put it on my altar. Thanks.
Altar?
Yeah. I put everything you give me on my altar.
Okay.
Sorry, you said you've got an altar.
Yeah.
You travel with an altar.
I mean, I travel with all my things and then I kind of set it up wherever I am.
How big is it? Is it large?
How much space do I have? I don't think I have a lot of space. It probably takes up like a little corner, like on a tiny little crate or something.
Perhaps Ethel could carve you a tiny version of one that you could carry around, save some space.
Would you, Ethel? I couldn't ask you to do that.
No, it would be my pleasure. You know what? I'll make it for you, and then whenever any of your friends, your coven, I don't know, maybe that's an assumption, they see it, and you can say, I got this from Merman Furniture Incorporated.
Yeah, no, that's great. It's a bit of word of mouth, you know, neck mouth, but still. Also, I believe it's pronounced Coven. I think it's Coven.
Coven? I don't know these things.
I don't know.
Okay.
So they vary from region to region, I think, but I've always heard Coven.
Eris is defeated by this interaction. She turns on. She goes, "Okay," and she takes out her poppet and she's like, "So frustrating." And she's just like, "Why did you send me here?" She's like talking to her poppet. She's like, "Why did you send me here? I don't know what I'm doing here." Looking at the poppet like it's talking back. "What do you mean? You are the one who brought me to the Dreamlands. I don't know how to get there. I didn't know how to get out. You brought me there and I thought it was to get into children's dreams and to eat the children, and I just didn't get to do that, and now I'm on this boat and I'm terrified, and what do you mean I'm not supposed to eat the children?" Don't eat them. I'm supposed to put them in the objects, put the spirits in the objects.
Dinky fuss tumble.
Okay,
comes
you're not
down.
gonna tell Baba Yaga that I've been eating the children, right? I'm doing my best. Okay.
Is she all right?
And she's just continuing to mutter to the puppet.
Yeah, I think she's talking to a doll.
The fellas and I have heard her talking to that doll, and it's creeping everybody out.
It's probably why she can't get anyone to hang out with her on the boat.
I think it's just something she's into.
Are you sure she's cool? Says Dinky Fuss Tumble.
No,
She walks up to Tinky and she's like, "Hey,
Oh, hey! Hey there!
what's your deal?"
Oh, just, making sure everything's cool down here. Are you cool? Are we cool?
I'm really cool.
Good.
Yeah.
Well, if any of your mouths are hungry, we're going to be eating soon.
Oh, excellent. Excellent. Right.
And he kind of looks at you. Goes upstairs.
Yeah. Nothing to worry about. Ethel, maybe you could make like a little house for her doll or something. I mean, doll houses.
What's your point?
Seems to be some kismet there or something.
You want me to make a house for her doll that she talks to?
I mean, I think it would be a nice gesture.
I mean, all right.
I just don't know why no one will talk to me. No one will make out with me. No one will hang out with me. I mean,
Yeah, see,
will
no
hang
one
out
is,
with me.
no one's making out with her, so I think you've got to build her something that her doll can at least kick back in.
Why can't the Baba Yaga teach me how to make friends or how to get a boyfriend? I don't know. Or go for
Where's
I don't
it?
care. I don't care anymore. I don't.
That does give me pause. The Baba Yaga thing. I've heard of this Baba Yaga. This is there's multiple places I've been. This is a very terrible person, from what I've heard, and she seems to serve her or something, and that does give me pause. I will admit.
So, where did we land on the house and the altar?
I say make of the house because
Okay.
you can't go wrong, and I mean it seems like a thoughtful sort of thing that you could do for a person who has a doll that they're very attached to is give them accessories for that doll. So
That is the entire business model of Merman Furniture Incorporated.
well, you know better than I do, absolutely. So yeah,
All right, I'll make a little house for the evil puppet.
great. Or even just like a little dinette set or something, just some as a starter.
Maybe I'll make it a chaise lounge
Started at Shay's Lounge. You could do little therapy sessions.
or a fainting couch. A fainting couch.
Yeah, no, that's good.
We can recline when it's tired.
Great. Yep.
Ethel is like flush with inspiration in this conversation, and he just starts to whittle madly.
Where's Atticus?
He needed that.
He did. He said he's been killed a bunch of times. His mind's been taken over. He's had a rough couple days.
I picture Atticus in a scene on deck, on the main deck, and maybe he walks up to Suki, and maybe she's just like standing, on by the edge of the boat, and he'll walk over.
She is. Yeah, she's looking out and she's feeding the fish and talking to the fish.
I could picture this. I could picture you standing there, like the wind blowing, and he'll walk up to Suki and say, "That was rather horrifying."
Yes. How are you feeling, Atticus?
Out of sorts. I don't know quite what effect this is having on us. Long term, I mean. It was difficult enough leaving the asylum, dealing with a certain level of amnesia, but I felt physically and mentally strong. I just didn't remember certain things. Now it's very different. I feel as if I'm wasting away. I can't figure it out, but hopefully we're coming to the end.
How does it feel different for you from when you were in the asylum, behind bars, and now?
Well, I felt of my right mind, and I felt strong enough. I just felt like I didn't remember, right? Not like I was wasting away. Like I was simply confused or a bit lost, but strong of mind. And as I found things out, as each piece of the mystery began to unfold, it all made sense. But this is making less and less sense with each passing dream. Suki, you were quite spectacular. Without you, we never would have gotten the hat. And so I'm grateful. But I wonder why you're here.
I was just asking the fish that same thing. I asked about the asylum because I know what it's like to be held against your will. And I wonder why you're all doing this. Because that dream felt like I was being held against my will, if that makes sense.
Yeah, it does. The other one, with the god, the great god. was the most horrifying thing I've ever experienced. And I felt trapped, and there was no escape. The only escape was death. Of course, Aldo and I feel like we are trapped in a way. We must do it. We must find out who we really are, how the Count came to control us in such a way. I feel like I need to know. I have vague memories of family, Suki, people important to me in my life, but I don't know who they are or where they are. Finding him could answer some of those questions. But we don't get anywhere without you. And you could walk away at any moment. You have your freedom. Please don't read this as suspicion. It is really... I am so deeply grateful. I wonder why you subject yourself to it.
That all makes sense now, actually. I was trying to understand what was holding me here. It felt like a weight. But perhaps it's not. Perhaps it's fate. You finding me on the island, me finding your ship afterward and escaping my imprisonment. Perhaps this is not an imprisonment for me. Perhaps this is my escape. By helping you. I could leave, but I feel compelled to stay. And perhaps it's to help you, perhaps it's to explore the dreams more, I'm not sure, but as scared as I am, I'm continually fascinated as well. So don't think that it's pity, it's not. Though I do care for you all, and well, I know what it's like to die in the Dreamlands, and I don't wish that upon any of you.
And perhaps if we stick together, we could escape this last excursion without feeling quite so dead.
Don't take this as suspicion, Atticus, either. But once you discover your missing identities or memories or whatever it is that you're looking for, what then? Where will I go, and what part do I have with you all?
What is it you seek on the long term? Freedom, of course, is such a valuable thing, not to be understated. Getting it is incredible. But then once you have it, it's also a bit of a curse, for you have to figure out what to do with it. I, myself, have ideas. I think I know what I want to do with mine. But what do you want to do with yours? If we are at the end of this thing and get all the information we need and we go our separate ways, what would you do? Where would you go?
I haven't thought that far ahead. I suppose I just maybe want a little fun. I don't know. A little adventure. I've been so cooped up, and I miss having excitement, even when it's terrifying.
I can appreciate that. For me, I always, I feel, wanted to be an entertainer. I wanted to bring the wonder and joy of magic to those who don't experience it often. And not the dangerous magic and not the horrifying magic, but the magic that makes you feel as if you could do anything. And this journey, while it is rather horrifying, does open up some knowledge, some ways of magic to me that I didn't know before. And I feel very lucky for that. But controlling that is a very fine line I'm finding. The more I know, the more powerful I become, the more of myself I lose. Can't go too far. But I think I'll know when to stop. I have one more question. Eris. When she joined us on this ship, well, we didn't know her any differently than we knew you, nor any differently than we knew Ethel. Ethel was, of course, a bit of a hired hand, a mercenary, right? Not here for fun and adventures, quite so much as yourself, but needed to prove himself. And you as well. Yet I cannot recall Eris having to fight O.J. Simpson. Do you have any memory of that?
No, I believe when I was initiated, as I assume is traditional on the ship,
As
by
I
fighting
thought it was as well.
the juice. I believe.
Hey, someone call my name?
No one's talking to you, OJ. Leave, or I will
hello,
give
OJ.
Pepsi
Sorry, I
something to do.
So, because when I heard somebody call out for the juice. I'll be right over here.
I heard somebody call out for the juice.
I heard someone call. You like the juice?
I believe that Eris was already on the ship when I appeared.
Really?
I don't remember her ever fighting OJ.
The days are all mixing together for me, and I don't, of course, want to embarrass myself. Eris!
She shows up like right behind you. She's like, yeah.
You were not there before. That scared me a little.
Hello, Eris.
Hey.
Have you spoken to a crew member named O.J. Simpson?
Yeah. I tried. Like every other crew member here, though, they don't really have a lot to say to me. So.
Oh, of course, don't worry about that. Very small-minded folk.
Really gets
did
to
you
after
ever?
a while.
Did you ever fight him?
No.
He is rather an interesting combatant. Suki fought him, did you not, Suki?
I did. Well, Pepsi really showed us stuff. If you remember, it's when I first met you on the docks. I was soaking wet, and I fought the juice and won quite quickly.
And Ethel did as well. It's sort of a rite of passage on the boat. And I just feel like, those crewmates and also, those among us in the guardians of the ship might be interested to see if you could handle the challenge, as it were.
Is that why, no one's hanging out with me?
I don't presume to speculate on the minds of
'Cause I
others,
didn't
but
do the,
yes, that is probably what's happening.
The OJ
The thing
challenge.
you guys do? The OJ challenge?
The OJ
Yes, if you don't complete the OJ challenge, it's very hard to connect with those who have people like Ethel.
Oh.
Suki.
What?
Suki immediately notices. Insight check. Suki immediately notices Atticus making the eyes, and she's like,
Ethel walks in. Were you guys talking about me?
Yeah.
Amazing.
Okay. He just
would-
turns and walks
No,
out.
wait.
Whoa,
We were telling Eris that she has yet to complete the OJ challenge. We were going to see if it would be held on deck.
What's the OJ challenge?
Well, don't you remember, before you were granted passage on this ship or a job as a contractor under Aldo and I, you had to prove yourself in a test of strength against O.J. Simpson.
You mean when you made me fight that poor subjugated galley rower?
Are we growing a conscience now, Ethel? Perhaps if I gave you more gold, you could forget your morality again.
How much gold we talk?
Well, we were just saying that Eris never...
I gotta build a whole house for...
You're building a whole house for Eris?
Building a whole
Who are you
house.
building a house?
Who are you building it for?
My friend.
My friend.
He looks awkwardly down. My friend.
AC Cowlings. You don't know him.
You don't know.
Okay.
Well, I do believe this rite of passage should be in our future. I just wanted to bring it up. Eris, it's all for sport. It's fine.
Who's OJ? And she looks around the boat.
OJ looks at me, guys.
Juice.
Hey, can you come here?
Hey, what's going on, guys?
And she casts shit. What spells do I have?
Kate looks over her
What is
spell.
she doing?
How can I torture this character?
Phantasmal killer?
Don't do that. He could actually die.
Vomit swarm. Vomit swarm. Vomit swarm. She casts
Hey, what's
vomit
going
swarm.
on? Hey, my name's Oh God!
She belches a swarm of magical vermin, and it evokes the shape of
I'm just starting to feel better. Oh, come on! I never heard a lady.
a rat.
Oh, so he's just being eaten alive by rats. Oh, come on!
It deals you 2d8 piercing damage.
Somebody shoot them! Shoot the rats!
It takes the form of a very slow multiple car highway chase.
Basically, you walk over, she throws up on you.
Oh, and he just
Suki calmly walks downstairs and just says, Alto, you have to come see this. Something's happening.
Oh, right. Well, listen.
And as you
never
come
heard
up, you see
nobody
on
Eris
deck.
going, do you, back down? Do you back down?
I never backed up! He just called me over to say hi, and then you threw up a rat on me!
I'm doing my rite of passage to be on the boat.
What the fuck are you talking about?
Oh no! I missed the beginning of the OJ challenge.
Yes.
Oh no!
OJ,
Am I
if
the
you-
winner?
If you yield,
Do you yield?
then
I yield,
Okay.
please!
Awesome. And she takes back in the swarm of vermin.
Sucks back in her own vomit.
Jay stands up covered in nibbles and blood. Please, leave me alone.
She wipes the back of her mouth with the
here.
wipes her hand with the back
Come
of her
here.
mouth.
OJ, I'll take care of you. Like,
No,
come
man,
touch you with
you
white
broke
gloves.
my arm. It's just starting to heal.
No, I can
Please.
heal you. I can make it. I can heal your wounds.
Oh, please.
She wipes her mouth and turns to you and she goes, how was that?
It was quite good. Ethel, can you take care of him?
Fix me.
All right, come on, man. and Ethel escorts him out, and then he lays his hands upon him and heals him.
Juice is tired.
Eris, really well done. I didn't think we could outdo Suki's snake show featuring Pepsi. This swarm was so delightful.
Snake show brought to you by Pepsi.
This snake show
Presented
brought to
by
you by
Pepsi.
presented by Pepsi.
This year's snake show is sponsored by Pepsi.
Truly, this was one of the best we've ever seen. Well done. Well
Thank you.
done.
Thank you.
while we're all here, I was wondering if I could ask you to participate in something alongside me.
Could you be more specific?
No.
Spinny
I'm in the
power
middle of an
stick.
experiment, so I really should be getting paid.
No.
I needed to
Okay.
do some research.
I'll do it.
I gotta go build a house.
It's nothing dangerous.
I was gonna say Spinny Pow is standing there, and she says, "I'm in."
Spinny power. Oh. Spinny, you're with me. My right-hand woman.
Egg and I, we're in.
Eris and Egg, you're my left-hand women things.
If I can be of help, I am happy to.
No, as long as
Oh.
it's quick. I do have a Bunsen burner going.
No. Oh, that's actually perfect. I'll use that. And she pulls out a sage stick, and she just wants to smudge the entire boat to remove bad energy, because she thinks that the crossover with the dream and the bloodwind, very bad energy. So she says, everyone take a piece of the sage, and all you have to do is put it into every corner of the boat and walk around. Put it in your own quarters, put it on the poop deck, everywhere.
Right.
That's it.
Okay.
Okay.
Smoke stings my eyes a little bit.
Yeah. Well, and I'm sure there's many other positive effects too.
I'm going to meditate and think better thoughts. If you need me, I'll be in the sun.
Right.
And she walks up barefoot and just crosses her legs on the middle of the deck and puts her head up, eyes closed.
Did she give us a job?
She just told you to go smudge the stuff. This is
Good
nothing.
job.
This is not a spell.
No.
Troy is looking so quizzically. He was like, what the fuck is she doing? Not a spell. I simply just want to she knows about dreams and stuff, and she has a lot of, like occultism knowledge. She just wants to smudge the ship. That's it.
Maybe if
Aldo,
I do
the
this,
second
she'll be
he
my
takes it and nods, and the second he's out of her vision, he tosses it up over the side of the
So
ship
rude.
and goes
So
back to his experiment.
Rude.
Nonsense. Utter nonsense. Piffle.
Eris walks around,
Aldo,
one hand Poppet, one hand Sage, kind of sniffing it, walking around, trying to make friends.
Aldo,
So
wait up.
ridiculous.
This, how's your experiment going?
Oh, quite well. I think I'm very, very close to a breakthrough.
If it's all right with you, I was going to start digging in on the research for the final location. Is that all right with you?
No, right, yeah. I can join you shortly. I just have to a couple of more
Yes,
measurements
sooner
to
the
make,
better,
and then-
please. You know I need your help.
Absolutely, yeah. No, and I really should hurry. And he rushes back down, and measures the boiling point of one of the liquids that he separated out. And after a few minutes, he shouts out, "Eureka!" Yes! And he's scribbling madly down, and Sheila in the formula book slams it shut. It's just like, well, that's a bit more thunder from down under, I think. Right. Well, let's get this other bit of research going. And he goes and joins Atticus.
You guys have the list of items that were given to you by the Yellow King. Maybe you've been circling them or crossing them out. Obviously, the Doom Idol of Ib is left uncrossed. But the only other item that you don't have is the webbed red foot. So
Webbed
That
red
sounds like it is straight out of Elden Ring.
the webbed red foot.
The
Yes.
webbed red foot.
I have it written in my
Webbed.
notes, and I looked at it, and I was like, red webbed foot? What the fuck is that? Now I remember.
Can't be right.
You're looking through the Count's books, and maybe you spent some time gathering some of them. You think, all right, these books are going to be for this, these books are going to be for this, and so you already know that books with such titles as Curses of the Black Lake, Men and Vultures, Denizens of the Darkened Depths and Dead Skies, and one other book called Shards of Sight, the answer that you seek is in the pages of these books. And so from there we pass through a day or two while you're digging in. Two of you are so smart, and you have other companions now that possess, arcana and occultism and maybe a little library lore, so they're helping you dig through these things. And at one point you find this lavishly illustrated bestiary identifying these rare creatures called womps. They're these bizarre aberrations that have multiple spindly legs that end in webbed feet. And although womps tend to be generally a pale gray color, the skin of their feet is a dark red. So out of all the monsters that you're reading about, that this seems to be the only thing that matches the description of this webbed red foot. You
Are
see
they
that
friendly?
Sorry, what are they called again?
Womps.
Womps.
I used
they
to
tend to be-
bullseye womp rats in my T16 back home.
It's not impossible.
you can have time to play with your friends later.
Are they friendly? These ones?
They are not. They are not.
The
The little you learned about them is that they feast on corpses.
Cool.
You're looking, you're
men and vultures.
men and vultures. You're looking at, you're not only are you just grabbing these books randomly and digging through them, you're also seeing Lowell's notes in the marginalia, cross-referencing other things. So as you're reading one thing and looking at another, you come across a medical journal that's describing rare diseases like corpse pox, ghoul fever, and zombie rot.
Oh boy.
And these are diseases that womps can inflict with their bites.
Come on.
They eat carrion and then inflict this upon their prey.
And does our research indicate if, like, these things have contracted in the Dreamlands carry over into real life, or is it, like, purely physical? Or is
it is unclear because the stuff is written. It's written as if they exist in our world as well, or as they exist in the Dreamlands. That's a real dimension as well, just different than the material plane. Over and over again, you see you're advised to avoid cemeteries and necropolises where womps tend to congregate in large numbers.
Weren't we in Necropolis? Didn't we?
Sure were. And you came up followed some ghouls, but they were like cool ghouls. They were like, hey, help us out. We're trying to wipe this place out. And these guys came in and took our old necropolis. And then
is that the one where Atticus first died? It was like a mausoleum, wasn't it?
Yeah. Yeah.
We played with Jared that day.
We sure did. And he lived.
Yeah. He got the shit and got out.
Sir Julie died there too.
Oh, wow.
That's right.
Yeah.
It was Atticus and Sir Julie left. She just stayed because Atticus blew it. He didn't blow it, Matthew. It was just bad rolls.
I didn't say it.
Yeah, I know. I see your mind.
Wait, was that the fly one?
Yes.
Yeah, I remember that.
You know what, Sydney? You're the best. All right. Is there no checks here to roll, Troy? To find out?
No, you're just digging into this information and you feel like you're very close to uncovering the phrase that you need to travel to this last location.
And the location, do we, like the other ones, I feel like we knew the location. Right here, we're just talking about what? Any random cemetery or necropolis?
Would we go back to the same place for this one?
It doesn't seem like that. All of these, like, you're sometimes given information and then, like, there's a left turn at the end. You're like, why would we go there? And then when you go to these places, it soon becomes evident. With this, you just find out that, like, okay, womps, that's probably a womp. Avoid cemeteries and necropolises. So where do we have to go? You don't know yet, and you're still digging in. But perhaps you'll find out some more right after this quick break. Shaboom! Comes on the screen. Day 64.
And this is not the campaign. This is like just since we got on the boat, right?
Just since you got on
2
the boat.
months on this boat. Okay,
Wow.
I know what Atticus wants to do today. Shower. He's going to bathe in the
time.
river. I never mentioned it before, but he is going to bathe in the river.
The shower on the boat is they have a rope tied to the keel, and you just tie the end of your rope around yourself, and you hop off into the water and just get dragged along for a while, and then you haul you back in.
It's funny, it's 64 days. Like, if we played this game like a normal group 4 hours a week, every week, we'd go through this part of the adventure so quickly, it wouldn't really feel like this feels like 2 months, because it's taken us about 8 months to get through 64 days.
Yeah, usually it's the other way around. It's like the game time moves so slow in real time. I'm sorry, the game time moves so fast. Wait, only 2 days pass in game time and 2 months in real life, right? Now it's like the real life and the game is like the same. Yeah, you know, it's amazing. Like I hadn't thought about that. Atticus could just like basically strip down to like a loincloth and then just like cast fly and like fly out, dive into the river, fly through the water, fly back out, fly back into the water and fly back out. Like, what an amazing way to bathe.
I think you need soap.
Well, yeah, I'm just saying the spectacle.
It'd be
and
fun.
a guard leaps out of the way.
Yeah, see that?
swallows them whole.
Right. It's like it
basically
would be
bait.
like doing it in the middle of the Amazon.
You're fly
guess
fishing
that's
with a
true.
rat, basically.
Yeah.
I guess that's true.
Well, it's day 64, and you are about 810 miles into your journey. Ever since you sailed south of Galt, if you were to look at a map, I don't have the map on me right now, but this portion of the Sellen that you're traveling on now very clearly separates the nation of Andorran to the west and Taldor to the east. But the Verduran forest lines both sides. So you're kind of running right through the middle of the Verduran forest. It is very much like the Amazon.
Yeah, this is cool. It's
So
like Heart
cool.
of Darkness or something. This is awesome.
Yeah, can Atticus talk to the captain?
Sure.
Like
What?
up on deck during the day? It's rather heavily wooded, is it not? Both banks.
Have you been drinking?
Yes, but what does that have to do with anything?
It's 11 in the morning.
Is it?
What is wrong with you? We saw you flying out there and bathing yourself without soap. You're drinking?
You saw that?
The entire crew saw it. You were it was a naked
thought I
rat
was
flying in
invisible.
and out of the water.
I thought I was.
Oh, you daft drunkard. What do you want?
These shores,
Yes.
do you ever stop along them? Is there any place any civilized society? It looks rather wild in this place.
Ah, yes, the Verduran forest. It is not necessarily hospitable, but also not inhospitable. There are many creatures, fey and otherwise. There are little enclaves of druids, worshippers of other deities, both good and evil. Not many ports, though. I've never had a reason to really stop, so it's not in our plans.
Even though we have a druid on board now.
Well, if we want to drop her off, so she can go meet up with her weird wood friends, that's fine. She can swim ashore.
I mean, I think that's rather judgmental, but perhaps she could help us get more supplies before we head deeper in, no?
I'm all set for the time being. We'll be in Casimir, and well, I don't know. I've lost all track of time, but we're fine right now.
You
Why
look
are you
over
so?
and Suki has like 30 birds on her arms, and she's like talking to all of them, walking around the boat barefoot.
And he points. He's like, druid.
I understand, but why are you so interested in going into the Verduran forest?
I'm not particularly. I mean, it did rather fascinate me. But when you said that it was not entirely evil and there were people there that could help us, I thought, why not give it a shot? But it is your boat, Captain. I wouldn't presume.
This isn't a sightseeing tour, Mr. Grimm.
I'm merely trying to get us more supplies, Captain. Also, you're being a bit defensive, and I do find it rather disturbing that you don't have any idea how many days it is until we will arrive at our location. I mean, it's pretty much the only thing we hope you know.
I will not take that kind of guff from a sot such as yourself.
What did you call him?
Oh, hello, Ethel. I was just having a conversation with the captain, who is well aware of where we're going and how long it'll take to get there, which is very comforting. Captain,
Atticus, you got something on your nose there?
it's just a bit itchy.
I'm gonna pretend this conversation never happened.
Listen,
In fact, I'm gonna pretend this entire episode never happened. I may delete it. In the meantime, what did the five of you do to the juice? He's been in his cabin weeping! Not unlike the weeping sores on his body from dozens of rats.
I healed
He is
those.
Yes, but he's a member of my crew now. You treat him with respect. You wouldn't do that to Dinky or Spinny. You don't do it to the Jews.
It's because Dinky or Spinny would not be enlisted to stand up and fight for this boat. OJ certainly would. He is an extremely strong fighter, and we needed to make sure that he stays on top of it, is ready when the time comes for a combat.
It is not your place to cockfight OJ. That's my juice. He's my juice now.
I believe
Good
it is
day
our...
to you. She storms off. That's my juice now.
She says.
She says. It's twilight now. We flash forward.
It was just 11 a.m.
Yep. You're still sleeping it off. Maybe you're all on deck. You just had a feast that Spinny prepared. More fish. It's always fish. And it's starting to get a little dark out. As it starts to get dark, everybody roll a perception check.
Oh, yeah. Natural 20!
Oh! See what happens when you beat OJ? Boom, 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 boom. It just starts to...
Get that OJ boost.
32.
32.
23.
21.
All right, so sounds like the boys are having a fine time while the ladies are more aware of their surroundings.
Apparently Atticus was bombed at 11 a.m. He's sleeping it off through twilight. It's like a trip to Vegas. He's about to wake up at 5 p.m. and get started all over again.
God.
Eris, you notice at first, Mitsuki, your eyes follow Eris's, and you see in the woods several globes of light just sort of floating high in one little section of the forest.
What is that? Do you know what that is?
No, I don't.
Roll a wilderness check?
Oh, yeah, can I roll like a nature?
Yeah.
Wilderness check.
I have
Try a wilderness
lore.
check first.
Wilderness.
I have wilderness lore. Oh, do you too?
Yeah, I took it because I thought it made sense for her. I don't know.
I'll do nature because it's higher.
You gonna do that instead of wilderness?
Natural 19 plus 19 on my
Nice.
nature.
And I got a 30 for my wilderness.
We know
Oh.
about the woods.
Yeah.
It is not natural. Whatever that is not natural. In fact, you're positive it's not natural, so you stare at it and wonder if it's just a trick of the eye, maybe the moon light hitting the water and reflecting in some weird way, but you cannot figure out what that is.
Can I roll Arcana if I'm just like, it doesn't seem natural. Seems unnatural. Oh, natural 1.
I'll do a cult. I mean, I have Arcana too. Do we think that makes more sense?
Yeah, Arcana is probably the first way she would go. You wouldn't be
It's
like,
not the-
is this some
This
cult phenomenon?
So that's a 23. Arcana.
Okay. It looks like it's very similar to dancing lights, it looks like, which means it must be coming from a caster on shore.
Guys. I wouldn't say guys. Suki wouldn't say guys. She's more proper than that.
Guys.
Gentlemen. That's more, that's where Eris is. Guy.
Guys.
Gentlemen.
Oh, magic missile. Sorry. I'm sorry.
Did
I
you
was
just
dreaming.
try to cast magic missile at me?
No, I think I just said the words.
Oh, he's asleep. He's asleep.
Well, wake up, because Eris just saw something over there.
Does anyone have binoculars? Maybe we can see if there's someone like on the shore. It looks like someone's casting dancing lights.
Oh, I could just cast dancing lights
No,
over there.
don't.
We could just ask them. We could just walk up and be like, hey.
Well, I don't
Hey.
see anyone. Do you see anyone?
Well, as you're talking, Senator Daldemain comes over and he looks excited and he's like, "Wait, did you say light, dancing lights? The missive that I received from my benefactors, the Stardust Augurs. They said in their letter that there would be globes of light in the treetops. Yes, right there. That's the sign that I'm supposed to meet them.
Ethel, get the captain. Get the captain.
Ethel just like turns around in a circle and then he runs off in the direction of the captain's quarters.
captain comes over and she says, "What? Do you want me to put this ashore so you can investigate?"
Yes,
and the senator's
please.
like, please, and you guys are begging as well. She's like, "It's getting late. I don't really want to get that close to the shore this time of night." And the senator's like, "Please, this is my sign. It's what I've been waiting for, and your reward will be taken care of if these are the people that are meant to save me." And she looks at the rest of you. What do you think?
Yes, absolutely. You don't know if this place to be completely dangerous, right? You said it
No,
could
but
go
it's
either way.
getting dark out.
Well, that's the only way to see the lights. He says it is their signal. We'll be fine. Pull over. Weigh anchor.
All right, I'll go, but if he's getting off the boat, I want you to go with him.
Of course.
And she kind of pulls you close, and she's like, "He promised me a reward. I want him alive so he can pay it."
Yeah,
We were also promised a reward.
The only reason we even spoke to him is because of his money. Rich. He's rich. Rich.
All right,
We all do thumbs up.
all right, we're pulling ashore for the right reasons.
Atticus gives a big wink. I think we understand each other.
And after a lot of pantomiming, the boat pulls close enough to the shore. In fact, there's this like little, was that a jetty? Like a little bit of land that comes out where you can get. She's like, "I think I can bring it in here close enough so we don't have to put down the dinghy." And you can just hop on to the grass if you want.
Oh, nice.
Not the grass, and it's like it gives way to the water. It's a little
Swampy.
a little swampy, but not like muddy, just wet. But you don't like fall into the water. And the senator's like, "Please, my companions," and he calls to his friends, "Desdemone, Manny, Phil," and his three friends come with him, and they're helped down as well, and then all five of you go with.
Yeah? No?
Yes.
What's up?
Yeah.
Well, you know, I always think about, like, we do have a certain responsibility to guard the boat. It seems kind of strange to all leave the boat, but...
they also, in theory, have their own fighters and people that are capable of doing that.
Yeah, they have
in
OJ.
theory. Yeah. No, I'm down. I don't want to split the party. Let's do this.
So you start walking in the direction with the senator and his friends, Desdemone, Manny, and Phil, in the direction of these globes of light. And as you walk...
Hold on. I draw my bow.
Hold on. I talk to Phil. Phil, where are you from?
Me? Well, I was born in Sandpoint.
And we're here.
Sandpoint. Sandpoint. I've heard of that place.
Yes, it's
Sandpoint, I know
lovely.
that.
Lovely, and I left. We can talk about this later.
Agreed.
Actually, maybe not. We must die.
Never talk about it again.
We could all
Why?
be dead soon, it's true.
It's just a weird thing to make small talk with me right now. We're approaching this magical light. You never once spoke to me
No, don't.
in the 2 weeks that I've been on this boat.
Ethel drives his dagger into Phil's neck. He was the inside man.
He was the inside man. That's amazing. That's weird that you would make small talk with me.
One hand over the mouth, knife in neck.
Shh. The senator's like, "Phil, come here." Phil?
Ethel was quietly
right
dragging the body.
Phil sounds sick. You
Phil sounds drunk.
You continue walking in the direction, and eventually the trees start to part, and there is a clearing. And as you enter the clearing, you see a woman standing alone in the clearing. She has long, dark hair, sharp features, smooth skin, and she's just looking up to the sky and like motioning with her hands and her fingers.
Sustaining the spell. Atticus will approach.
Excuse me. Sorry, don't want to startle you.
She stops. And as she stops, that light that was illuminating this grove goes away. It's only the moonlight that's starting to grow brighter by the moment, finding its way in, so everything gets dark in like an instant, except for that moonlight.
But Atticus has dark vision, so he can still see rather clear. What does she look like in terms of ancestry? You know, is she armed? That kind of stuff. Important defensive stuff.
Roll a perception check.
Okay. That is a 19.
19. She's wearing some sort of pendant, and she has a small blade at her side.
Is she human? Does she appear human?
She is human. She has dark features, but definitely human. Doesn't look to be any monster. Very simple robes, and you don't startle her, but she stops because she was so lost in the casting of the spell. She stops, and as things go dim, she looks at you. Greetings, travelers. The great dreamer has shown us much of your travels in our own dreams. You must be weary.
What?
And as she says that, you see in the clearing all around you, several dozen people start to emerge from the wood. Like 30, 40 or so. Some of them were dressed almost identical to her with little pendants around their neck and blades, and the others all have weapons.
Cool.
And we'll see you next week.
Awesome. This is going to be a friendly encounter.
And that's why I stayed on the boat.
Devil wanders in, trying to scrub the blood off his hands. Carrying Phil's wallet.
You know what? I really hope Phil was the inside man. I hope so.
Oh, dude, 40 people. Oh, God.
So in like darkness with just the moonlight.
Darkness,
So
a total
creepy.
trap, and happens to be the same sign as the.